Welcome to Toffee TV. It's a daily live extra. It's just a normal everyday in the world of Everton.
It is.
Just a normal day. Just innocent people.
Another day.
Just another day of comings and no going. Well, goings and no comings. More to the point. Yeah.
I mean, you just asked me if I'm wearing me Dom.
Yeah.
Am I doubling down on
You're
Dom?
doubling down on
You're
Dom.
asking me if I've put this on to double down on Dominic Calvert-Lewin. You'd be absolutely right. The other one's gone. He's no more to me. He's done. He's unfollowed. That's it. Gone. Be kissing the cock before we know it. Well, he will, won't he? 'Cause he likes to kiss
the
the
Spurs players and fans love
They love
to kiss the badge.
They do.
No,
fair play to him. I've got, all joking aside, 4 years he's done really well for us. Off he goes, but we have to move on, don't we? We have to move on.
Yeah, we all knew.
Because we have to.
We all knew it was coming. Whether we liked it or not. Circumstances dictate, and obviously it's fallen on today, the last day of the financial year. And it's done, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of numbers bandied around, whether it's 60 million, whether it's 50 million plus add-ons.
Each 60 million, isn't it?
Each side will say, will say their own figure. But ultimately, what can you say? Evan had to sell the player. There's no two ways about it. It's not like he's kicked up a fuss, and this suits Everton, whether people like that or not. This suits Everton. Everton had to get the best deal under the circumstances. Yeah, they could have, maybe in a different market or under different circumstances, held out for a little bit more. In the market, the price we've actually got seems to be consistent with the likes of what Gabriel Jesus going to Arsenal for, what Rafinha looks like he's going to Chelsea for. It's quite it's not whether we like it or not what we think he's worth. Well, obviously the value is what he's worth to us, but there's that big looming date. Well, today's the date, obviously time, isn't it? So which has to be fulfilled, and it's put massive pressure on people to get this done, and again, it is what it is, and hopefully from tomorrow we can maybe churn this into something positive. But at the moment, it doesn't feel very positive.
Got to look forward, haven't you? We can talk about why we're here, and there's not a chance we should be here. We've had money, tons of it. We should never have got to a situation where we have to sell one of our best players. But there is two bits to that story. One is, it's obviously the club has been run poorly since Mashiri come in. No one can deny that. Nobody can deny that. It has. And secondly is the player wanted to leave. As much as we can put it on the club's toes, and we should do, because we're having to sell him against, or maybe for cheaper than what we wanted. We can't ignore the other side, that the player wanted out. So he's been very public with that.
But doesn't the player want out because of the circumstances?
Well, he wants out because we haven't done anything on the pitch, and that's fine. But they're two separate things, aren't they? Almost, because one side has allowed the other side to spend money that didn't have and give wages it didn't have, and get to a situation where we are up against the wall. The flip side of that is the people who were in charge of picking players and picking teams and picking tactics and doing everything else over the last 6 years haven't done their job either, which results in the player being 25 years of age and looking and going, what's the best case scenario? I want to play in Champions League. How soon can Everton get Champions League? Well, not realistically, but how soon on a sunny day could Everton get Champions League? Probably 3 years. And I'm saying, I know, that's what I'm saying, a best case scenario. The reality is they're nowhere near Champions League football. But then he would be 28. So he's not going to anger him. Why would he?
No.
You've got a club going. Now, okay, I know a lot of people are upset because it's Spurs, and Spurs don't do anything, don't win anything. But he'll look at it and go, well, it's a new challenge for him. He's in London. They're playing the
He
champion.
joined Everton.
Yeah, exactly.
Everton
And
don't
we
win
didn't
anything.
do it. We were just the promise that we might. We're on this journey. Spurs will now be giving them all that. Oh, we've got Conte and we've got this, that, and the other. We're gonna do that.
But it's called ambition.
But history shows they don't do anything.
But it's called ambition. They've got ambition.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter what anyone says about where he was going. He's going to a club that's got ambition. He's going to a club that 10 games into last season showed it had bollocks.
Yeah.
And went and got the best manager out there. Yeah. Literally the best manager out there. You know, held their top striker. You know, wouldn't sell him on the cheap. And eventually have gotten the Champions League, and you know, that's it. You know, they've
got a good spill,
and they'll be going for. They will be going for trophies this year, because that's the point of buying someone like Richarlison, is that you add those extra players so that you might win the League Cup, or you might win an FA Cup, and then you build from there, don't you? You know, you can't. I just don't get.
If we had Spurs squad, we'd be shouting about it.
I don't get this thing of people going, it's just Spurs. If they're showing ambition, they are putting it out there and going, well, we've already got these boss strikers up front, let's go and get another decent striker. And let's pay 50-60 million for what will be a squad player.
Incredible.
That's to me ambition. That's what people want to see Everton do. And yet people are like, well, why is he going there?
If we had Spurs as squad, we'd be shouting all sorts.
If we were in the Champions League and we had, you know, not one but two of the best strikers in Europe, you know, in Son and Kane, and then you add to the players that add into it, you've got to, like, how are they going to ever ever win anything if they're not trying to buy these players? And that's got to be the same as us. It's funny this, because 11 years ago, and I don't know whether if anyone remembers this who's watching, 11 years ago, I went to a Blue Union meeting, but it was more than a meeting because Howard Kendall was there. And Colin Kavanagh was a brilliant fella with a brilliant brain for numbers and stuff and processing it. And he did a presentation on where Everton were then. And the team he used to compare it was Spurs. And he said, like, this is the team I can compare it to because similar gates, similar fan base, don't forget trophies and all that kind of thing. He said, we're talking about hard numbers here. And he said, in the last, this was 2011. And he went, in the last 5 years or whatever it was, he said, these are Spurs' numbers. This is what they're trying to do, and these are our numbers. And he went, and then he said, I'm using Spurs because it's the team closest. They weren't winning anything. They were in and out of Europe like we were. I think, I think they had been in the Champions League. And he showed them as the example, and that was 11 years ago. And people wonder why now Richarlison, who's seen as our best player or one of our two best players, would go to them. Well, because...
Well, what were the numbers showing?
I'm saying the numbers were showing that Spurs were miles ahead of us.
We're still ahead of us.
Yeah, and people, he was saying in those 5 years, Spurs had comfortably pulled away from us, from the money they were bringing in, sponsorship deals. And that's what I'm saying, this was 11 years ago. And people wonder why.
I didn't give it any context.
Sorry, I thought I had. And he was showing, the numbers proved that Spurs were just a much better run club, and therefore we're getting the benefits from it, and we're getting better sponsors in. And when you think back to 2011, you don't go, okay, they had. When did they get the bail money?
2011.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Well, I think it was, but it was like the context of when you sell a player to compare to when we sold the player, and how it all goes back
11
into
or 12.
Yeah, when it all goes back into, I think, it was like going all back into the team. I think it was more 12, wasn't it? I think it was actually before they sold them, so this was before they got the money. And that was then, and it was that's when people wonder why you would pick a team like Spurs ahead of and leave a club like Everton. It's because Spurs are where they are, right? Because in the last 15 years, they've been run properly. Don't get me wrong, they've had a little bit of luck with players like Bale, with players. I mean, maybe you say Bale was luck, but they brought him in from.
He was ready to sell him.
Southampton. No, that's what I'm saying.
For
with the luck,
$3.5 million.
They got a little bit of luck because they changed his position. Kane, of course, you can call that luck, or you can just call it, well, they've got a good academy. And all they've done is they've had a guy at the top who, brilliant businessman, you know, wouldn't give you anything for nothing.
No.
You know, they've now built the stadium, which of course that's what we're trying to achieve. But they are a well-run football club, and they make decisions quickly as well. They don't mess about. They make decisions, and whether they're right or they're wrong. And I know we go, well, you know, we've sacked, but they just seem to do it correctly. You know, they divered when they probably should have turned the squad round. But what I'm talking about, I'm not necessarily talking about like the business sense side of it though. It's always done absolutely correctly, and they bring the right people in.
People do look at it for all those reasons you've just said, is that we were very comparable. And people will look and think, well, he's our best player. He plays for Brazil. He should be going to a club that wins stuff. But first and foremost, no club that wins stuff coming for him. That's the first thing. And this is the next best thing for him. They're a team in the Champions League. And the other thing, I'll just finish. The other thing is, they were one of the teams invited into the Super League.
Yeah, that's what I know.
So perception for everybody else, and Richarlison will be one of them, or his agent.
And this is what people have got to start. This is what people have got to start recognising. I think is they think of, it's only they got invited. They didn't get invited into the Champions League because they won stuff. Because actually, football nowadays isn't necessarily about what you've won. It's about what you can bring to the table. It's about the money you can bring to the table. It's about how what you're giving the sponsors, what you have internationally. Of course, they've got Harry Kane's that give them a big advantage. But it's how you market yourself. It's how the perception that you create. You know, there's a reason why it's called the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and not called, you know, the Jorex Stadium or whatever. It's called that for a reason, because they have NFL there and they want everyone in America to know what Tottenham Hotspur is. They don't want to go, it's the Philips Lightbulb Stadium. They want to go, well, Tottenham Hotspur. Yeah. They are putting themselves as the sponsor for all those people who don't understand.
I'm not having to go with Spurs.
I know you're not. I know. But I'm saying this is where what we've got to understand. It's not.
But
trophies are brilliant. No, sorry. I was just going to say, trophies are brilliant, right? But what we've seen in the last few years is only like 3 teams win trophies anymore. And that will continue. The window is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Man City running away, Liverpool close, and Chelsea are going to have to throw millions at it. So if you can't win trophies, you have to get yourself in the Champions. Look at what's happened to Arsenal by dropping out the Champions League. But you have to have an understanding of what you can bring as a football club to the table, even if you're not winning. And I think that's what Tottenham have done brilliantly, absolutely brilliantly. They've won. They think they've won like 2 trophies in the same amount of time since we won our last trophy, something like that, in 2 League Cups or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, you've just said it. They got invited into the Super League, and people might go, why? They obviously have something, don't they? And they have something clearly. We have 2 things that we don't have now. One of them's Richarlison, but they obviously have something we don't have. And I think until people, I know a lot of people have already realised that, but that's what football's all about now.
No, it isn't. At the end of the day, Everton should use Spurs as an example, really. Yeah. To get your house in order and start to try to, obviously the new stadium's coming and all that. You've got to start building and be better run, basically. And you can argue the merits of a takeover all day long, whether it's real or what's going on with it. It's all a bit weird. I still find it all very strange. But I think for most people, that takeover would represent new people coming in and fresh pair of eyes. And you would hope you would get someone in, like a Daniel Levy, who, some Spurs fans have criticised him for whatever, but he's a good businessman, whether you like it or not, or he sticks to his principles. He's tough to work with, but he also sets the tempo. And you watch that All or Nothing, both Spurs, you see them in the ball. I know you're only seeing bits and pieces, but you're seeing them in the ballroom and the way they discuss things and argue points and stuff like that. And you wonder whether that goes on at Everton. But we are where we are, and what can you do? We've got to knuckle down, use this money, stretch it as much as we can, stretch the sponsorship money as much as we can, and start rebuilding. Stop buying other people's cast off. Stop paying wages that we can't afford, really, that don't tie in. It's so if you get everybody, and this is something Spurs done really well, they had everyone on a wage thing, and they only eventually broke it for Harry Kane because they had to, and he was worth it, and he'd done the
because he does it.
Delivers every year. You do break it for that. But what Everton, I think, done, Everton just got used to, because they had a big pot of money, just got used to paying people whatever. Instead of going, nah, mate, come in and prove yourself, and we'll keep chopping you up. But you've got to prove yourself. And we have to pull that wage bill right back down and start getting hungrier players in.
Don't you think that was a byproduct, though, of the scouting and everything being so poor, that we often went to these players like cap in hand? You know what I mean? Like, where we go looking for these players, go, oh, we want you, you're the best.
Everything was. I seen an article. I can't remember if it was. I don't know whether it was Paddy's or whether it was somebody else.
Yeah,
but I read an article
in
the last day or so, right, about the type of play we went after, and everything was a quick fix.
Yeah,
everything. I remember getting me knickers in a twist over us being criticised when we signed the first transfer window we had, because. I might have even been Paul Joyce, and to be fair, he was right about the age of players we were signing, and it was short-sighted. And we were going, well, no, because you've got to get to a level. Because you're thinking, you've got to get to a level, then you build on top, which is what Man City did.
Yeah.
But obviously at that time, we weren't taking into account, because the FFP rules are quite new.
Yeah.
We weren't understanding the FFP rules, so we just had a big, huge pot of money. And so in your mind, or certainly in my mind, it was like, we'll get players in to get us at this level. And once you get to that level, it'll be another big pot of money, and that takes you to the next one, and takes you to the next one. Wasn't the case. Weren't the case. I'll hold my hand up and say that at the time I was fuming over it, but they were right. I was wrong, they were right. It was like, you've got to look a little bit longer term, and I hope that Everton do that now, because we can't, no matter what happens, no matter if Elon Musk bought us tonight and went, I want to give 10 billion to Everton's transfer fund, doesn't mean anything. We can't spend it. So you have to start doing things differently. Instead of going and getting Alan, why didn't we go and get Basuma? That type of player, do you know what I mean? Why? I'm not having to go with Alan, because Alan has been decent, I think, for Everton. He's a decent player. But there's other players now, okay, people might throw Tarkovsky at me and go, well, hang on, you've just got a 29-year-old. Yeah. But I would say, well, he's free. And he's there for a specific reason, I think. And that's okay. But now, let's use this money, and let's use now, as we move forward, to start being a little bit more patient and going, well, we're going to buy him and him, because they're only young, they're going to grow into these players, but our team will start retaining value. You look at the books, we sat here the other day going, well, if it isn't Richarlison, who is it? There's Dom, Pickford, and maybe Ben Godfrey, and maybe Anthony Gordon, because his name's been thrown in. That's 5 players. Our squad's got 20-odd people in it. And you're saying 5 people can grab you some money. 5, when we've had money to spend. That's fucking outrageous, isn't it? That's outrageous. We should be sitting here going, well, we could sell him.
We shouldn't have to sell anyone.
No, you shouldn't. But what I mean is, if you wanted to bring money in, we should be able to name 10 players who aren't our best, who we could get money back for. And yet we're not. We're going, oh, God, thank God Delph's contract's up. Thank God Tosin's out of contract. What the and it's those kind of signs. So it almost, and I know what, listen, I'd put something on Twitter this morning, and it was kind of like we move on, then he's gone. So, we have to move forward. And I watched a lot of people, and they were absolutely justified in what they replied to me, but it was like, we've been here before and we haven't learned. So why is now different? Now, to keep me going every day, I want to believe we've got a new set of eyes, and therefore we might do things differently. But I might be sat here on September the 2nd going, what was that? What was that transfer window? As much as you want to back the players, and I do, and I want to give everybody, whoever pulls that Everton shirt on, I want to back them no matter what, but I would just love it if we started going, we're getting him from France and him from there, as well as this, because then you go, it looks like we're learning, so I can get into that. I can buy that fully. I'll back him because he'll grow. Too often it's just like we said yesterday. Oh, Scott McTominay. It's not against Scott McTominay. He'd actually probably make Everton better, but those kind of players. Someone at Spurs, Harry Winks, and again, Harry Winks might make Everton better, but is he exactly what Everton need right now? No. Let's get Divock Origi, because I know he's going to Milan, but what I mean is he can't get in Liverpool, but he'd be good for Everton. There's that mentality. Can't get in there, but he'd be boss for you. What the fuck are you on about? Lucas Moura, be great for Everton. He's 30. No, thanks, mate. We'll get our own Lucas Moura at 21. Because everything we've just done with Richarlison should be everything we do with all of our players. We've had him for 4 years. He's hit double figures every year. We sold him for more than we bought him for. It hurts a little bit, of course it does, but that's what Dominic Calvert-Lewin, if we sold him, we'd have sold him for more than we bought him for. There's not many Everton players we can go down the list and say that's happened to. And that, to me, is terrible recruitment. When you can't.
Or you could just, or the other way, is you could just build something. Because you've got good enough people at the football club who understand how to build something.
But it might take that one out of 4 you buy, you'd have to sell one every couple of years. Of course, and
I've got selling players. Of course, it does hurt, and I feel sorry for all the kids who idolise them. Like I idolise players, and you idolise players when we were kids. It's horrible when you see them, especially when they don't leave to another country. And you have to watch them week in and week out. Someone else is getting that success and that joy from it. But I just simply don't believe anything's going to change. I just can't. I just can't believe anything's going to change till those people leave the football club. Everyone knows who they are. And I just can't believe anything will change. Because I've seen zero evidence so far that anything is different. Kevin Felwell, it's going to take time. Of course it is. It's going to take him getting his people into the club. But I just don't think... there has to be a seismic change at Everton Football Club, and that has to start at the top. And I honestly can't see... I just think more people... Obviously, a lot more people are more awake to it. I think something like this... I genuinely don't believe... I genuinely can't believe, right, that there wasn't more anger at the end of the season. There was joy, of course, that we stayed up. And I honestly thought anger would follow it. And then I heard all this nonsense about, it's Lampard, it's going to be all right and all this. I was like, what are you on about? Lampard, we trust him.
That's just people trying to stay upbeat.
We don't need to stay upbeat, right? There's an absolute nonsense narrative driven by people from the football club through their partners that, if we're not all in it together, then we're against each other. Like, wasn't it great at the end of the season when we all had our flares out and stuff and all this stuff? Let's keep that going. I thought we were all in it. No. Right? This is the time right now to air your frustrations about the football club. When the season starts against Chelsea, let's get back at it. Let's get B1. This is the time to air your frustration, and our fans have been very quiet so far. Very, very quiet. I think some of them have been a little bit... Of course, nothing happened. You haven't sold anyone yet, so you're kidding yourself. Of course, you want him to be, it might be all right. This might be all nonsense. And now it's finally happened. Now he's gone, and more people are coming out from the journey. I seen Phil McNulty say last night on Twitter, this comes down to one simple thing: the people who run the football club. More and more people will latch onto this story and go, how is this? There's an article in the Athletic today going, if you read it, it's like it mightn't even end here. There's nothing to say that one of the other big signings, one of the other potential signings will leave, and Anthony Gordon and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I don't think that'll happen, but they're saying no. They're saying people like Burnley are still knocking on the door. They're still asking questions.
Well, they were until this goes through.
No, I know, but that's the point, though, isn't it? And if people like Burnley are still knocking on the door, going, we think we've got a justified case here. We think they should be in the relegated. We're sitting here, and it's July tomorrow, and I just can't believe that there's not more anger. I really can't, and I'm not trying to force anger, and I'm not trying to say people, there should be this mentality, but I just it shouldn't take selling one of your best players for people to go, we're in a mess, and this is a huge month now, and Kevin Felwell and Frank Lampard have got their work cut out for them, but that's not their fault. That's someone else's fault. Frank Lampard should be. And he will have known probably from the start, but he should be like, right, we've just been saved, we've just got ourselves out of that trouble. Right, let's build. Let's get a couple in and let's build. No, so what's the first thing he's got to do? Sell the fella who saved us. That's me. I can't have that, and I certainly can't be quiet about it either. These people who run Everton Football, 1.5 million we spent last summer, and this summer we're having to sell our best player. And do we really know what we're going to get out of it? I just honestly, the sooner these people leave our football club, the better. Because not only have we got one terrible owner, we've got two terrible owners. And we're so bad that we let the last terrible owner have a job. So, to me, this should spark something within the fans to start asking questions of what the hell is going on at our football club. And it also should spark a few journalists to say the same thing. Because more and more stories are coming out going, oh, well, these are really in a fucking mess. And those stories should have come ages ago. They've just been protected far too much, these people. And if people want to say, oh yeah, but we were all together, thought we were all together. Let's be all together as fans. This is our football club, and it's being run worse than a corner shop. Corner shop would have gone bust by now. Would have gone bust the way we are. So this should be an eye opener for a lot of people today, that we are having to sell our player who saved us on the last day of the financial window, the financial year, to keep the walls from the door.
But we knew this.
But not an, yeah. But
we knew
it doesn't
this.
matter if we know it. It doesn't matter if we know it. People should be shouting about this. The last day of the financial year, and we're bringing in money essentially to stop the Premier League involved in bringing an investigation about us. And that's absolute. That's a disgrace with all the money sloshing around in the Premier League right now. People going out buying players left, right, and centre, and you've got a relegated team who want to launch and investigate.
They've wanted to launch before. It's not going nowhere.
But they've got just means though.
Nowhere.
But they've got just means. But they've got.
Yeah, but then Everton could launch one for Man City, launch one for Newcastle, launch one for Liverpool. Launch one for other clubs who've done exactly what they've done.
But the point being is,
all the same.
What all those clubs you just mentioned there didn't scrape through relegation last season. All those clubs profited. All those clubs profited with trophies.
Well,
we profited by
Newcastle didn't.
We profited by staying. Yeah, but Newcastle haven't done anything wrong yet. They haven't done anything
How
wrong.
did their owners get through?
But that's the government. Going out,
it's
that's
still
about
the same
them.
thing. The Premier League.
It's about them.
Hang on. If we're doing Premier League sliding, giving people a free pass, Newcastle got waived. That takeover got waved in at 11 o'clock at night. The clubs weren't notified. They were sent an email to say, having thingied against it, voted against it. They were sent an email by the Premier League chairman to say the takeover had been approved. The person who approved it then left the Premier League the next morning.
That's fine.
That's corrupt.
That's corruption. But it doesn't matter because that's not our football club. Our football club is getting run like this. Newcastle.
No one's
but people don't know though.
People do know.
They don't.
Surely
they sit there fucking in their own world.
Mate,
oh no,
can't do this again. Honestly, the same conversation.
You know what? Right, we have to do this again because people aren't listening.
Listening. I hear it every day.
Nobody's listening. It's the same shite all the time, and then you get, oh, you can't say that. You can't say that. This club is a fucking disgrace. And again,
I apologise for anyone who wasn't expecting swearing.
Well, I don't care.
Quite clearly you don't.
I'm sick to death of it. And I don't understand why.
Now, can we get a beeper?
I don't understand why more people are not up in arms about this. People are just like, oh yeah, it's just one of those things. These people should be hounded out of our football club, and they get away with it all the time. One's been getting away with it since 1998. 1998 been getting away from it for, and this is where we are now. This is where we are with one of the worst squads in the Premier League. One of the worst squads in the Premier League. But it needs saying though.
You've said it though.
It needs saying.
I know.
It needs saying every day.
Well, you need to do your own address every day. Every day.
Till someone starts listening.
Okay. Callum, thanks for the super chat. Says, love the content, lad. Love from Scotland. There was another one I'm gone. I've been trying to do this and you wouldn't shut up so I could do the super chat, and now I can't.
Was a super chat.
Now I can't find it. Here it is, Fletcher. Fletcher, thank you very much for the super chat. If we sell Richarlison, he's gone. Who would you guys bring in, and what's happening with Tarkowski? Well, Tarkowski will be announced. His contract expires at 23:59 tonight with Burnley. So, I don't know, tomorrow or early next week. That's when he'll be That's when he'll be announced. Boxy says, today's a sad day for our football club, not because we're losing a world-class player, but we're losing one of our own, a player that gave everything for the shirt and to us as fans. This is all because of the board. They have to go. Enough is enough. One thing I know, we are the best fans in the world. We'll move forward and be ready to roll the Blues on. Chris says, hate to see him leave, but he gave us everything, and that's all I can ask for. Hopefully he can bang one or two past the Reds. Gary Mack says, good afternoon, fellow Blues. A sad day in many respects, losing a favourite player. We must look forward and hope for a brighter future, otherwise what's the point? Dean says, 60 million, happy with that. Wouldn't get any more given our situation, and every club knew it. Best we could have asked for. Money in now for Moyes Keane next, and we move on. Plenty of good players available that won't break the bank. I'd like to go for Dennis and Zinchenko, and hopefully a centre mid or two on loan or a freebie. Got to secure our position in the league till we get to Bramley Moor Dock. Paul says, gutted he is leaving. He's one of about only 3 or 4 I'd be disappointed to see go. Good luck to him, but not when he comes back to Goodison. We all know the media narrative will change with him now. Let's hope Thelwell and Lampard are allowed to invest the money sensibly and properly. Can't wait for the likes of Ken Knight, Denise Barrett, Baxendale and Mashiri to leave the club. Myers says, we're losing a quality player. We now need to replace him with another quality player. Simple. Eyes all on Thelwell. Good luck, Richie. I believe the board had the same ambition as him. I believe the board had the same. Sadly, though, they were not competent enough for the job. Okay. DC Toffee says, very sad, won't get to see him in Baltimore. I hope they sing his song when he's announced at Goodison. I don't think they will. No, Ped tweeted before 1-0, 3 more to go. Who are the other 3? I'm guessing Gomez is one of them.
They're not players.
Oh, he's happy with all the players. Steve says, afternoon, lads, currently off work with a herniated disc, which is not good, but at least I get the chance to see the afternoon live show. Besides the stadium, there appears to be a lot of negativity around the fan base. Just for me, I think we finished the season as a fully united club, pulling in the same direction, which got noticed around the world. I think FFP will do us a favour long term and focus the club on doing things properly. Just got to hope the club will sign some good, honest professionals on sensible contracts that we can build from. Opportunity to lose some of the deadwood and start recruiting smartly. Yep, hopefully. Brian says, lots of blue hysteria. I'm no different. We're all a bit down. Over to you, Frank and Thelwell, to give us a decent summer for a change. Fingers crossed. Richard says, good afternoon, gentlemen, and Ned. Sad to see Richarlison go, but the lack of other interested clubs in his transfer suggested the fees are about correct for him. Getting outscored by Pookie, Bowen, Dennis doesn't suggest he's worth anymore. Makes me laugh when fans start cry-arsing about comparative fees. They never seem to mention the more successful transfers, like Luis Diaz, for example, 40 million. He did reference Pepe for 70 and Ben White for 50 there. David Fry says, why did we sell Richarlison to buy garbage like Winks? Well, we haven't bought Winks yet, have we? So let's see who we sign with it. Mathew says, afternoon, lads, hope you're well. Sad day today, but it highlights once again how much of an embarrassment we are in terms of how the club has been run into the ground. Mashiri has made the name of Everton a laughingstock, and our reputation as a serious club is shot to pieces. Yep. Sam says, how many players do you think we'll sign and how many do you think we need? I say Richarlison gone, we need a replacement, 2 centre mids, another attacker who can play wide and through the middle, and possibly a backup left back. That's without other players in the squad leaving. Low market could be the key. Well, they might use Nkunku as the backup left back, knowing that Godfrey can do it at a push as well. And obviously Eli Campbell's just signed his first professional contract, and he plays for the 21s now. He's played left wing back last season for the 23s, so I guess there's him as well at a push. Richard says the reason Brian Harvey got out of his car was because he had 3 large jack of potatoes for his lunch and was getting out to be sick. Oh, okay. So DJ Spuddles was to blame in that case, I suppose. There you go. Peter says, did you know last season we only won 1 game without Richarlison? No, it didn't.
No,
but keep the positivity coming. Richie says, from following on from what Ped said yesterday, I'm not happy we've been put in a financial position by the board that were forced to swell our best player while they keep their jobs. And to Spurs as well, a team we were competing with a few years back. The fans basically kept the club up last year and we've been rewarded with increased season ticket prices and top player sales. Yeah, Andy Budd says it's always darkest just before dawn. Derek says the price is good. Not that torn up about it, if I'm honest. He's a player that always worked hard for the club and always connected with the fans, and I can't fault him for any of that. But I never liked his attitude personally, and I don't think he's as good as we think he is. Good luck to him, though.
His attitude kept us up.
Andy O'Neill says, hey guys, the deal is down, but that's only one phase. Everton needs to recruit wisely, not act like the money is burning a hole in its pocket and buying the first thing it sees. Also, 2 more things. How much longer do you think Coleman has at the club in terms of playing? I can't see him making it to the new stadium. And second, how would I go about submitting an article for the website? See you in the Premier's night, Ned, for president. Just message us, Andy, DM us, and we'll get back to you. Cheers, mate. Coleman, I don't know, maybe another season. But
it depends.
There might be a
if
crossover.
Patterson plays a lot of games and he starts playing less games, then you could probably get 2 out of him.
You just can't ask him to do that job every week, up and down, up and down. Ruse says, it's devastating, fellas, but it is what it is. Just hate that we have to see him playing in the Premier League. Hopefully he pulls a peanut. Yeah, that's the real kick in the bollocks, isn't it? If he'd gone to like PSG or Real Madrid or somewhere, Bayern Munich, somewhere like that, it wouldn't have been as bad. But obviously having to watch him for Spurs and all that is going to be the thing. Steve Guy says, another cracking deal to you brought by the clusterfuck known as Everton board. Anyone else can see the irony of the very people who've created this awful mess of a club now have doubled down by selling off one of our best assets below his real value to balance the accounts. Incompetence produce Ken Knight out. Jay says, we think you're fucking brilliant, Richie. Thanks for your service. Everton, don't dare squander the money. Bring the right players in. Hey lads, would you now tell Dom to give us an amazing season and we'll see you next summer? Sell you next summer. We'll need to financially to keep the Wolves. We may not though, Jay, might we? We'll see what happens. But yeah, we need them to be good this season. What is the impact of this happening before the end of June and the FFP factor? Does it give us more scope to spend in the next financial year? Yes.
Sorry, something just cheered me up amazingly.
Go on.
Look what they brought out.
Got beat 6-2 by Villa when we could have gone top of the league. Everton, that.
Always the same.
Steve Bryan says, hi guys, if the prospect of a European Super League had come up in 2011 to 13, do you think at the time we'd have been invited to join? We probably would have been because we were 5th around that time, weren't we? Yeah, we would have. We'd have been in before the likes of Spurs, ironically. City wouldn't. Yeah, City would have because they were just, the money had just come, hadn't it? But yeah, probably. But it's timing, as a lot of things with Everton now. Anthony Arnott says the way we've been run is a disgrace and it's still happening. Tom Pike says I'll be more upset to see Richie go than I was when Lukaku or Barkley went. I wish you all the best, Richie. Thanks for that derby win and always putting a shift in. Luke says at the end of the day it's night. Richie says, all right lads, the only good news today is we aren't signing Winks. Winks will go to Leeds and be unbelievable. Nevion will be like,
of course he will.
What are we doing? Why didn't we get him?
It does say that. It did say that. Well, apparently that article said that he looked at him. I just think Lampard scrolled Twitter.
He's got just had a look and gone, oh, fuck. Let's not make this any worse. Sorry to see the Richarlison go, but we got a decent amount of money for him, says Gary. Let's spend it wisely. James says, Ped is right. Some people who support the club don't know how much we're in the crap. Needs sorting out top to bottom. Ped, this is from Richie. We all know you want Ken Knight out the club, but he'll probably only go if this takeover happens. So let's hope it happens.
I want them all out the club. I'm not picking on Bill Kenwright. I want them all out the club. I want Machiri out the club. I want all of them out the club because they've all demonstrated that they're absolutely terrible at their jobs. It's not a personal thing. Don't know the people, so I can't be personal with them. They've all demonstrated they're clearly not good at their jobs. So if it was a manager, we'd want the manager sacked. If it was a goalkeeper, we'd want the goalkeeper put on the bench. I just don't think these people are
sold.
good enough to be running our football club, to be running a football club in this 21st century, in this new FFP era, to allow Kevin Felwell, Frank Lampard to do their job. I just think that has to change. That has to change. And maybe a takeover will solve that. I don't know, because I don't really know the people coming over. I don't know whether that would solve all the problems if Peter Kenyon's people come in. And maybe I'm asking for too much. I just like normal owners who understand the game in this day and age. And that's not just a personal opinion, by the way. That's listening to people in the game who understand the game, who know how chaotic Everton have been in the last few years. And of course, that starts with the fella who owns it, Farhad Moshiri. Never mind Bill Kenwright. So if Everton have an opportunity to sell to someone good, then we've got to take it, surely. Before we get into the new stadium, drag this club into the 21st century.
James says, do you think Lampard's thinking about playing a Wobie?
I was going to say play him himself then.
I mean, he'd be better, wouldn't he? A Wobie in Richie's position.
Maybe. I mean, maybe, yeah. I mean, listen, we've got the likes of Dele Alli. We've got the likes of Iwobi. We've got the likes of
Gordon and Gray.
I mean, I know they barely produced anything between them attacking-wise or goal-wise last season. But they are there, and a fit Dominic Calvert-Lewin, it's to me, it's not necessarily about the first. It's about the entire squad, like it was last year.
Balance as well.
It's about getting
it's
about getting the right people in the right positions, and that's why it's a big month. You got to use whatever money we've got wisely. Hopefully, you'd hope that targets have been lined up already, whether it be Dennis from Watford or whoever, so that they're ready to come in. So we're not sitting here now going, what are we going to do now? Hopefully that side of the club has caught up a little bit to what other clubs are doing. Because this is the other thing, isn't it? When you're watching other clubs buy players that you're like, oh my God, he'd have been perfect for us and he's only like 12 million. And because it feels like we've already missed that boat. So let's hope we've got players lined up and we can start buying, from tomorrow.
Joe Briggs says some of our fans think Richarlison is Kanchelskis level. He scored 10 goals and 3 of them were penalties. Mark says, yes, Fed don't understand Baz dissing Spurs. Mark quite clearly doesn't listen, because I wasn't dissing Spurs, that's all.
He's just been the Cagney to my Lacey.
I mean, very, very strange comments to make, Mark, but, maybe if you watch it back, you'll see. Steve Peace says, Baz, would you be a bit gutted if West Ham signed Brozier? Yeah, I would be, but, mate, I'm going to stop looking at other players because we don't ever sign the ones I think we should, and other teams seem to do. So, we'll see, won't we? Where's the thing here? Just seeing an interesting one that just bounced quite quickly. Benny says, Benny B1892 says, do you lads think Lamps will get a tune out of Dele Alli this season?
He needs to if he's going to keep him, isn't he? If he's going to keep him, he's going to play him. He needs to because, after 20 games, that's, what?
10 million
quid. He's got to get a tune out of him, hasn't he? He can't just be there for can't just be a passenger. He's got to find that position. And hopefully he progresses.
He's got to, hasn't he? He's got to produce. He's got to produce because otherwise, what are we doing with him? Oh.
It's warm in here.
It is gone warm now. I think it's you. You just kicking off.
God, no, I just looked up the screen there in the right on box and thought he hasn't rung up, has he?
How's he got in? There isn't even a link there and he's phoning up. It's mad. Benny, Baz and Ped barely on speaking terms now. Why? I listen to Ped every day. I'm well versed in his views, mate. It's not gonna change. Do you think Zinchenko can play as a number 6, says Michael?
What, for Manchester City?
I don't know. I mean, he is comfortable. He's very comfortable in midfield. He's good on the ball. I don't really think he's a number 6. think he's an attacking player as well, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, for the Ukraine, he's more of an 8, isn't he? Or an number 10 sometimes.
City have played him high, haven't they? So I want us to have I don't want us to try and shoehorn someone in.
Modern day Phil Neville.
Do it.
He's a modern day Phil Neville.
Phil Neville, shut up. Shut up or we will fall out. Stop it. As much as Phil Neville was sound, but come on. I think, Delhi's dead interesting, I think, because quite clearly
because he hasn't played.
We've got to get something out of him. No, but we've got to get it.
No, I know what I'm saying. He's dead.
He's a player who's got ability, clearly. But if Everton aren't going to, Everton going to have to make a decision on him very quickly, I think.
Yeah, he's weird, isn't he? Because he's hardly kicked the ball for us. It's very... We would have to change the way we play, but then maybe that's what Frank Lampard's plan's been all along. Maybe that's... No, but maybe it has. Maybe... Because Iwobi's not going to play right wing back. And he looks like... And you'd have to utilise him. And this is where it doesn't make sense. If you had, like... If you went for, like, an aggressive midfielder, and then that would allow maybe Iwobi and Delhi to play then. I don't know. I'm sure we'll start seeing signs in a couple of weeks when we play our first pre-season game.
Yeah, you'll kind of see what his plans are, won't you? But yeah, it looks like Richarlison, that'll be done today.
See, Chelsea apparently tried to hijack it at the last minute.
It's just weird because Rafinha was, although he hasn't.
How does that work?
Now someone else wants him, don't they?
How does that work? Some clubs tried to hijack it in a van.
Are you done?
Apparently Barcelona have just sold 10% of their TV rights to a company. So they've already sold 50% of their rights for something else, and now they've sold 10%. So maybe they're going to try and, because they've wanted them for ages, and obviously they want Lewandowski as well. They're just selling bits of that club off bit by bit. It's mad.
No, it's mad, isn't it? It is weird, isn't it?
Do you think we could sell like 10% of Ned off?
Buy it. Sell it to Jed W.
The 10%
on the plane
above your head, Ned and Jed on the plane.
Yeah, be amazing. Stuart says Ali and Dom as the forward pair. Gray, Iwobi and Gordon behind. 2, 3, 5. Then what? 1 and then 4. So 1 sitting. James posted the other day on Instagram. What, that he's coming back? 50 grand a week, then, yeah. Because he's not getting the money he was before. Paz says, in the current football climate, with the usual big teams like Bayern, Barca, Real not spending the amounts they used to, we did well to get a big fee for Richarlison. We sold him at the right time. Also a great fee for Dean, who's turning 29 soon. We've actually done okay this year in getting good money in. It's what you replace it with, though. I mean, okay, Dean, fine. We got 2 fullbacks that we needed. We lost creativity, but we got 2 fullbacks we needed. But Richarlison, all the eyes are on it now. All the eyes are on it. If someone like Dennis comes in, and then he gets a couple of midfielders, then yeah, you might go, all right. We'll see. We'll see what happens. And Dennis was good last season for Watford.
Dennis should be a good replacement, but can we get him in? Can we get it done? Can we get him in quick? Can we just
get him in before we go to America?
Can make it a seamless thing.
Apparently he's very interested, and Watford will be happy to get him off the thing. It's how much they want for him, and it's what kind of deal.
Is that both of their faces, Ned?
Danny says, don't echo a lot of what the guys are saying. It's a sad day to lose a grafter like Richie. There are enough players in lower leagues of English football with European-based players, as you've highlighted, Baz, who could sign that would increase our dynamism and energy. Time for Thelwell to make his mark on the first team. It is. It absolutely is, mate. It's over to him now, isn't it? This is the hard part. We've had to lose one of our best players.
I mean, it is, and it is, and it isn't. I suppose it's because it's what's he working with, what's he got, what is there available, what's the. How much leverage, wiggle room, whatever you want to call it, have we got? There
must be.
Don't forget, we've got to leave a squad place for El Ghazi as well.
The 15 million.
So it's gonna be that.
I think the books look a hell of a lot better from tomorrow.
Because they're in the bin.
No, well, with this going through today, makes this year's Everton come right under their projected losses this year, which means then that can be carried over into next year because this will be under. Then you've got the stake.com money coming in, and then it gives you a year till next June with a pile of money to spend. So, and if Everton can amortise stuff, which they will, they can turn that money around and use it very effectively. Then it's up to them. Then if Everton finished 16th, didn't he, last season?
Yeah.
So if Everton finished 10th, say, for argument's sake, right, that's another 12 million quid back in the coffers that they haven't got as well. It goes through the books. 2 million a place and all of that. So they can make money up. And they might finish the summer transfer window by selling like Mina and Allen for like 20 million or something as well, and then I'm getting rid of Gomez off the wage bill. Then you come out of it. I know the squad will be a bit thinner, but it'll be a bit thinner. Yeah, but they bring players in on loan and stuff. There's ways to do it. It's not forever, is it? So you've got to, at some stage.
It feels like it's forever.
No, I know, but we said last summer when we only spent 1.5 million, this might be like the year zero. This might be year one.
What's this?
This is
-1.
No, but we knew what we had to do. So again, be economical, be clear and what you're going after. Don't take other people's crap. Don't waste money.
We're certainly looking at other people's crap, though, aren't we? That's part of the problem, isn't it? I mean,
but a lot of it's paper talk. Last year,
I know, but
I done the news every day, and it was Rabiot.
No, I know.
It was Koulibaly.
And we know
there was million.
But what I mean,
Khedira.
all right.
None of them
We're not we don't seem to be looking at anyone's not crap then.
Say Everton have a list. I'm not saying they do, by the way. I'm hoping, but say Everton have a list of 8-9 players or based all over Europe that the press haven't got any details of yet. And Kevin Thelwell goes, right, now we're making the move. Because we don't know, do we? We're just going by what, Harry Winks was signing 2 days ago. All of a sudden, now he's going to Leeds, or now it's off. Who else? They've had all sorts, haven't they? Donny van der Beek, or whoever might still sign him. Well, they're not, are they? So, papers will pick up anything and look and go, Everton are interested in a move for whoever. But until the actual deals are done, or it's the real serious interest is there, Everton might have gone, see if we can get Harry Winks on loan, and that'll tide us over for a season. Let's see if we can get a tune out.
Apparently that's the problem though, isn't it? Because they don't want to.
No, but that's it. So, and then it's like, well, you can buy him, and Everton have gone, well, no thanks, we're not buying him. We wanted to try before we bought. Move on then, and you move on to the next one. That's how you have to do stuff. Bill said, gutted Richie is going, but knew he would. Good luck to him. He worked his backside off for us. How we recruit is critical. Young, hungry players, please. Adam says, will be interesting to see how Delhi does after a proper pre-season. Richie says, Per, calm down. I should have included Mashiri and Baxendale in that last post as well. We all really know these lot running the show very nearly took us down. They did. Steve says, totally agree with Ped, needs to put pressure on getting Billy Liar out as a minimum. My son is away at the moment and has met someone who's heavily involved in the club. They describe Mashiri as mad. DBB is useless. Harlem was at the training ground and Bill Kenwright blocked it, totally out of control. I'm not sure it was Kenwright who blocked it, but it was. Harlem was at the training ground. Chris Davis says, all right, fellas, please don't fall out. Lads, life without Toffee TV would be intolerable. We're not going to fall out, are we? We don't agree on everything. Julian says, the day Everton sold Rooney did it for me and I accepted. No matter what talent we have, we're always a selling club. Nothing has changed nearly 20 years later. Also, did you know there is an Everton Way housing estate in Forest Lake just north of Minneapolis? I didn't know that, Julian.
Should we drop Ned there off?
Yeah, we'll leave Ned. See if he can get back from there.
Him and Cam. Tom, there's somewhere to
There's a lizard place there.
Lizard and food.
And the Arteta money's there as well. Bill said, oh God, it's gone off. Tom says, don't know why, lads, but I don't get notifications when you go live anymore.
On what? Patreon?
Yeah. Oh. Don't know, mate. Well, every day,
check all
Tom,
your settings.
we'll be on live on YouTube at like 1:30ish. But check your settings, yeah. Who should we look at? Dennis or Keane Lewis Porter?
He's
Potter,
gone to
even.
Brentford, isn't he?
Well,
No, I know, but I'm saying that seems to be down the road.
I don't know. Dennis.
I mean, Dennis is only about
24.
24, yeah. So he's, for the Potter,
20,
could end up being a really good player.
Dennis is a little bit bigger, physically stronger, isn't he? Potter's only 5'7", isn't he?
Average height in here, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. The average height normal. Alfie says Richarlison will soon join the likes of Duncan Ferguson, Wayne Rooney and Mikel Arteta as another fan favourite that Everton sold to balance the books. Frustratingly, this one was more avoidable than the others.
I don't know if it was. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's just over a course of years. It's unavoidable. It's just not unavoidable right now. Simple as that.
If you do things right, you don't get to this point, do you? But he does want to go as well. That's what we have to remember. Danny says, if the rumours are true and Watford only won 18 million, I don't see any reason why Dennis shouldn't be an Everton player. Come the end of the week, bloody hell. But the end of the week's tomorrow. So you want him in by tomorrow. Fair play. You've got to aim big.
Why not?
Why not?
But why not though? Why not be ready? Why that you want the club to be ready, don't you? To
Oh yeah, and listen, they may well be. I don't know. I've no idea. Hope they are. I hope they are. But yeah. Philly says we need a midfielder who can pass well. Winks is the right type, but he's just way overpriced.
Yeah, and it's just another team trying to flog us the players they don't want, and that's not the market we should be in. We should be grabbing people's up and coming players, whether they be on loan or whether they be, in France, Germany.
Where you get your value for money. That's what you do. You get your value for money. So, God, who knows? Who knows? It'll all play out, won't it? We've been saying for weeks that Richarlison would be gone by this date. So to me, it's like, yeah, I knew it was coming. Best way for me to deal with it. It's what we do next. Honestly, if we get the Richie money, I'd be straight on to Watford for Dennis. Perfect replacement. That's what Tom thinks. And James says, with Spanish and Italian clubs not having any money anymore, 60 million is right for Richie. Jesus has just gone for 45. Jesus.
Yeah, I think we said that earlier. I don't really see. The problem is the market is deflated, hasn't it? Since we bought Richarlison, all those big fees, like you just mentioned there, because the Barcelonas of the world and Real Madrid of the world, Juventus of the world don't really have that money to throw around, and the people who do have money are a lot more careful how they spend it. You look at seeing Manchester City, even Paris Saint-Germain to a degree, aren't splashing money on going after people with 150 million, are they? They bring in good players. They've just given Mbappe silly money, of course. There isn't really that. The market is the Premier League, and you're right. The average price at the moment for that kind of player seems to be between 50 and 60 million quid, even less. So I've got no real problem with the fee as such, and I have no problem with the lad going. I understand the circumstances completely. That's not my issue. That's not my issue. My issue is, without repeating what I said before, is why aren't we learning the mistakes of the past? No. Why aren't we learning? Why you just mentioned it before, last season being, year zero. Why aren't we learning those mistakes? Why does it still seem like money is pouring out of the club and we're not bringing good money into the club? That age your FFP. Of course, you're always going to sell players. Players are always want to win trophies and test themselves at the highest level. I understand that. I've understand that for a very long time. Like someone said before, the day Wayne Rooney left, he was this, boiled Evertonian that we all thought was going to lead us to the promised land. That gave a lot of people a taste of what modern football is that maybe we hadn't tasted for a long time before. I just don't understand why we're still making those mistakes, or the people who've made the mistakes are allowed to continue making those mistakes. That's me saying it in a very much calmer way. And that's my issue. Like you said before, you might be absolutely right, Baz. This might be the beginning of it, and we just can't quite see it yet, because we are at the starting point, and in the next month a lot of things will come to pass, but we'll see what happens.
Alfie says Big Kia. Oh, sorry. Beg Kia doesn't bend the ear of Mashiri again. Left Philwell and Frank do their own thing. Ard says people ignore the difficulty of overcoming being broke for over 20 years and expecting Mashiri to turn it around. Give it time.
What?
Peter Finn says...
Wait, what was that?
Peter... Well, let's not go into this now. We've been in an hour.
He's at 7 years.
6, yeah. Yeah, he hasn't... the way he's done it, Ard, isn't good though, is it? He should have put a structure in place, proper people in place, and built slowly. He tried to rush everything by just throwing money at it, and it's chaotic, and now we are chaotic. Peter says, why don't you think centre-backs score goals anymore? In the top 5 leagues, the top scorer had 5 goals. Top scoring centre-back. Interesting one, that, isn't it?
Because most of them used to score from set pieces, and I think football teams now have a lot more data to work with on set pieces and stuff like that, and zonal marking's become such a big thing that it leaves a lot less opportunity.
Football Matter says Forest, Leeds and Everton will go down the season. Not a chance Everton will go down the season, mate. So you're expecting Fulham and Bournemouth to survive? Fair play, mate. I'll see you in May. It's just one of them, isn't it? I think the only way for Everton truly to move forward is to have different people come in with fresh ideas. But right now, we've got to go with what we've got, and what I'm talking about is the likes of Thelwell, and that's where we are now, and he's got to start putting the right things in place. There's lots of people are naming players in the comments, and they're absolutely right. But yeah, my opinion, Everton won't be anywhere near the relegation. Everyone has forgot that Everton were decimated with injuries and everything last season, and no striker. So, but I'm not saying Everton will be good this season either, by the way. But it isn't difficult to finish halfway up. But we'll see. There you go. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out. Give us a subscribe if you haven't. Been interesting. It's been an interesting 24 hours. And listen, let's hope that from an Everton perspective moving forward now, they can start bringing some players in and turn a little bit of this. Start picking people up, because people will be down, and rightly so as well. You know, it doesn't look great, does it? Doesn't look great when you've had a terrible season and then you've had to sell your top player to balance books. And exactly, Jack, exactly. He won't be there running the team this year, will he? So it'll be totally different. Right, thanks very much everybody for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. So there you go. Take it easy. See you later. Bye.